We found some ancient ruins right beneath us. It's not active now, but there should still be some power left.
Yeah, okay. The
We're
Isaru
gonna go down there and
Bahamut, I
activate
definitely
it.
remember that.
And then we should be able to salvage the big prize.
But that was bullshit. I'm sorry. That was, again, like that was
Okay,
deserved.
let's get to work.
That was a legit.
Roger.
I felt validated rage quitting that one. Okay. So, I always forget this thing. Was this one of those where you could go back onto the ship and then get more
We'll
stuff?
go as soon as you're ready.
Was there like a trick here where you could get some extra things? I don't think so, right? Yeah, the Blitzball one is like in that sense one of the most like memorable rages. Infinite potions. How did you get them? But you had to move screens. You need to enter the next zone first, then return. Yeah, I almost never utilize this, so I kind of should. I want to just try it like once or twice, because with this auto-haste we might need to use some extra healing. Have you ever broken a controller? No, I think, like, as I say, that one time I kind of smacked the controller, and I think it, like, it didn't break. I carried on using it afterwards. I think it was fine.
We'll go as soon as you're ready.
Yeah, the P-Birdman mod was never a live stream. It was basically kind of how I do it with the Carithian mod. It was like once a week. I think it was on Saturdays. And then talk to this guy. Ah, okay. Nice. Sweet. I think I'll do that a couple of times, honestly. Yeah, it's the same guy that gives it to you the first time. I guess he just has a short memory. We'll exploit that a little bit here. I'm not sure I've ever done this trick, like, properly before.
We'll go as soon as you're ready.
Yeah, dude just... He's got short-term memory loss. Broken a television while rage quitting. Wow. Yeah, if anyone has any... Oh, shit. If anyone has any particularly fun rage quitting stories, I'd be happy to read them as I play. Yeah, maybe we'll be really near death pretty soon already. So, I'm gonna use this chance to steal. And I guess at least we can kind of replenish our health by going back up to the save sphere. So it's probably a good idea to just do some early stealing. We can use them against Tross. We need to kind of make up for the extra speed. I never rage quit. I quietly turn off the game and then return to it 7 months later. It's pretty healthy. In today's world, the controller's more expensive than the TV. Final Fantasy Tactics on the PSP made me break my first PSP. Oh my god. Somehow one of my favorite games of all time. But as in, like, you were already a big fan of the game and something happened in it that drove you nuts? Or, like, you were still learning the game and then you had the rage quit and then eventually ended up growing to love the game? I tend not to rage if I mess up real bad in a game. I just stare at the wall and contemplate my life decisions. I love the game already. That's even more interesting. It's kind of funny when it's already a game that you really love and it still annoys you. Broke a Guitar Hero controller by slapping it a bit too hard after start. Fair enough. Yeah, for the record, for anyone curious, I literally have Final Fantasy Tactics, the PSP version, the War of the Lions version, as voted for by you guys, set up on my PC and ready to record. I'm basically, I think maybe at the end of this week or the start of next week, I'm going to start recording. I need to get to the next screen, actually.
We'll go as soon.
I keep forgetting. So for this trick to work, you need to get to the next screen. I keep thinking you can't get encounters in this screen, but you can. Arkham, I mean, for any other playthroughs that's ongoing on the channel, usually I have multiple playthroughs ongoing. So at the moment, it's not the case, but if I'm, let's say, playing Tactics, which I'm going to start very soon, During like live streams where I'm playing 10, I'd rather people didn't kind of discuss and spoil stuff about tactics because I'm still trying to play through it myself. So that's what that disclaimer's for. It might not be as relevant for this particular episode, but I kind of leave it up there in general in case I forget in the future. As long as you're not using 3 potions per encounter, it's worth it. Yeah, I think so. A friend broke his window throwing his Xbox controller after a tough loss. Are the Xbox 360 controllers that hefty? Or is that window particularly weak? You probably can, I guess. I've never had an Xbox, to be fair. Like the PS4 controller, the PS3, they always felt very light to me. They didn't look like they could break a window. Yeah, the Final Fantasy X spoilers are definitely allowed. It's fine.
We'll go as
I'm getting a lot of it. The first couple of times I did this, I didn't get any encounters on the first screen. Now they're all coming in. But honestly, I think we can already just get moving. I will rage pretty bad, but I don't give up easily. I'm not against looking up a solution after a while. I literally spent hours. Yeah, okay. I think that's generally where I'm at. I'm very stubborn about looking stuff up, but I try to really kind of go as far as I can without looking anything up. But there have definitely been like some times where I've just been like, you know what, it's just not worth it. And you just kind of look it up. And obviously it helps you get through in the end. Does the encounter rate get haste as well? No, thankfully. I mean, I guess you could literally turn this booster on if you ever want to do that to yourself for whatever reason. I assume this probably like doubles the encounter rate or something. I don't know mechanically how it works. Frequent. I don't know. How many grenades do I have right now? 6. Get another one. Why not? So for now, at least, like the relative difference in agility is still pretty high in our favor. And so as a result, even though they're auto-hasted, they're not suddenly getting like 3 turns at once or something. I thought we'd always give you instant encounter. I don't think it's instant. It is just literally like more frequently. I think you have to go like half the distance on average. Nowadays, if I rage, I give up for a couple of weeks and sometimes come back to something I once raged at. I think it's definitely also true, the whole, like, if you're finding something very difficult, to basically just kind of take some time away from it, and then come back to it, and then suddenly that thing that had been giving you trouble for so long, like, you get through way more quickly and easily than you did before. That's definitely happened to me many a time. Yeah, the live stream didn't have doesn't have a countdown. I don't even know if you can put one, I forgot, but the premieres are the ones that have the 2. So we'll need you on Friday again, Real. Yeah, it'll take a while to farm for a Riku Overdrive. I think I've got a lot of grenades. I'll just see if that's going to be enough. Probably do that. There we go. This is me at work. Yeah, okay, so what's the longest any of you guys have been stuck on a boss in a game? Where, like, you've been making some level of attempts at it. It's not like I tried it once and then gave up for 6 months, so I was stuck on it for 6 months. It's more like I actually had some attempts. Like, every now and then I was trying, but it took me like a week, a month, a year. Yeah, those speedrunners, man. They got all the strats. They're built different. Now, is it worth Healing first. I think just in case, I'm gonna... I forgot if you got automatically healed. I don't think you do. So I might as well start in full HP here. Okay, here we go. So we have Tross, the next mandatory storyline boss. Now this guy actually has 12 agility, which is pretty quick because Tidus I think has 10 and Riku has, I think it was 15 or 16 agility. And so it's definitely more favorably matched up against us here. So like compared to Tidus, for example, is getting 2 turns in quite regularly. So let's see. So we'll immediately start with some of this. I think I might as well just use the Tidus Overdrive now. He's going to be slow anyway. Obviously, one thing about the Auto-Haste mod is that potentially, depending on what overdrive you use, like the punishment's going to feel even more because you're just going to... The enemy's going to get even more turns than it normally would. The legendary bonds of friendship, challenge, and rebirth. Yes, that one was absolute pain in the arse. Yeah, I think that's kind of how you know that like a super boss / super hard challenge wasn't even... it wasn't fun and it wasn't like a great setup or battle. Like if by the end of it you feel just kind of more relief or you're like, ugh, whatever, I'm so done with this. Like that's not the vibe. Like you really want to be... You want to be like jumping around and celebrating and just like really excited when you've done like a difficult thing, I think. But some fights just don't give you that. It's just kind of like, ugh, like thank God that's over kind of thing, you know? Wow, that was... Yeah, so that was actually interesting. It was so quick there that we didn't actually get a chance to do anything. So normally you get to choose to stand by or to defend. And it completely just ran through us there. So that was actually really dangerous. Wow. So let's get the grenade in still. Sense of accomplishment versus sense of relief. Yeah, exactly. And well, especially if it's one of those where you've had to end up resorting to like looking up some guides and some information on how to do it. I think it always takes away a little bit of the sweetness of winning the fight as well when that happens. So that paired with like it feeling like a real slog, and you just don't get a lot of that satisfaction, I think. So let's keep going. Alright. Now, the problem here is that I think it's going to swim away and then come back over the next 2 turns, or is it going to use tentacles again? In any case, let me just wait here. Yeah. Because that means that Tidus is not going to have time to heal or do anything, so I'm going to use one more potion here. Make sure Tidus survives this. Ah, crap. Ouch. Yeah, but now I think we should be fine. I healed the wrong person there. Yeah, now we should be able to take it out. Yeah. Let's just do this anyway. Nice. Okay, there we go. So yes, we did do a little bit of farming in advance. I think if you come in here with kind of just like a couple of grenades, it might be a bit more resource intensive. But hey, we did it. Insane how OP that overdrive is so early. It's true. Okay, I think we can just get out of here. And we have made it to Besaid. Melania took me 3 days. Yeah, I think the first time I fought Melania, I spent like 3 hours on it, 3 to 4 hours on it. And I was already like, you know what, I think especially when you're commentating, obviously it gets a bit more difficult to do that stuff. Where like you lose the energy to just like commentate on attempts because you've just said everything you kind of need to say. You just need to like lock in and try and win. That was one of those where like I basically gave up. But I always knew I wanted to beat her again, like in the future. And so she was one where I think I made a return. I forgot how many months later, but I returned. And then I think then it took me like another 6 hours or something of just no commentary, playing in my own time. And yeah, then I managed to beat her. So it was worth it in the end. Penance overdrives only drove me up the wall for a few weeks. I can imagine. Extreme Behemoth in Monster Hunter World was an experience on release. Yeah, the first win against Melania is definitely tough for most of us mere mortals. Well, of course, especially if you're not doing like, you know, spirit summons and all that business. But that was one where it was kind of interesting because I beat her the first time without summoning. And then I didn't play Elden Ring for basically almost a year. And then I came back to it and I wanted to fight her again. So I had a different save file and I tried again. And this time I beat her within like half an hour or something. Like the next time round. So by then I guess I'd racked up enough muscle memory to kind of do it.
Hey, I helped out, didn't I?
Yeah, we've managed to beat Click and Tross, so we've made it to Besaid, at least.
Hungry.
Yes, indeed, Mike, you are correct.
Whoa! Right on.
All cutscenes means all Waka. Yeah, you can definitely get your Waka emojis out once he enters the fray.
Hey!
The Nightmare mod for Final Fantasy X made 2 more fucks than actual Nightmare. He had double his
It's because
stats.
you eat too
Dude.
fast.
You called my favorite Waka battle quote. Yeah. That is a good
Hello
one.
there. What is your name?
Riku?
Whoa! You really do understand. Woo-hoo-hoo!
That reaction.
Why didn't you say so earlier?
I didn't get a chance to. Everyone thought we were a fiend.
We?
Oh, we means you.
Who are you guys anyway?
We're Al Bhed. Can't you tell? Wait, you're not an Al Bhed hater, are you?
I don't even know what an Al-Bhed is.
Where are you from?
Xanarkand. I'm a blitzball player. Star player of the Xanarkand Abes.
Did you hit your head or something?
Sorry, if I go a bit quiet, I'm just kind
you
of
guys
enjoying the scenes again. It has been a while since I've seen them.
Oh, right. Do you remember anything before that?
Hey, they got the Tidus one too, you know. At least it's consistent with the camera height placement.
So I told her everything there was to tell about Xanarkand. About life there, Blitzball, and Sin's attack. And about how Aaron and I were engulfed in this light.
It definitely
I
sounds
just said
pretty
things as they
wacky.
came to mind. But then I started to wonder. Did I say something funny?
You were near Sin.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, you'll be better in no time. They say your head gets funny when Sin is near. Maybe you just had some kind of dream?
You mean I'm sick?
Because of Sin's toxin, yeah.
This guy are sick.
You sure?
Yeah, there is no Xanarkand anymore. Sin destroyed it 1,000 years ago. So no one plays blitzball there.
Right.
Huh?
Huh? He's got the best horse.
What do you mean, 1,000 years ago? But I saw Sin attack Xanarkand. You're saying that happened 1,000 years ago? No way!
Yeah, I actually had someone kind of tag me on Twitter, and they were like, I think they were asking, they were theorizing about what is an Abe, because obviously Titus plays for a team called the Xanarkand Abes, and he was asking if I had an opinion on like what even is an Abe, and honestly my kind of reaction was just like, I don't think it really means anything. It's just a name. It's kind of like the Duggles, where I don't think the Duggles mean anything either. It's short for Abraham Lincoln, yeah. So I was just kind of like, I didn't think too deep into it. I don't know if anyone has any like legitimate theories or ideas about why they're called the Xanarkand Abes. I mean, for me, I was just like, I think he said something along the lines of, my response was that basically, I'm trying to remember exactly how the interaction went. I think I said something along the lines of, at the end of the day, it's a team that existed in Dream Xanarkand, and Dream Xanarkand is made up of the memories of the people who originally lived there. And so, who knows? I mean, it's been 1,000 years since this whole thing was constructed, and one thing we'll kind of never know is the nature of what goes on in there and how things have changed, if at all, from when it was first formed. It's like, maybe the Xanarkand Abes is like the name of a misremembered name, or like a warped over the years kind of name. From like a team that really did exist in Xanarkand. So we don't know if historically there really was a Xanarkand Abes once upon a time in quote-unquote the real world. So we just kind of don't know. And I think they said something like, no one corrects him about the fact that he calls them the Xanarkand Abes. And I'm like, yeah, because, well, maybe who the hell knows what a team from Xanarkand, the real Xanarkand 1,000 years ago was called anyway? Who's going to remember that? And two, I think the fact that he says Xanarkand full stop is what people tend to focus on. So, I don't know. For anyone curious, I think I didn't know this one until I looked it up. The Aurochs, so the Besaid Aurochs, the Aurochs is an extinct type of... What type of animal was it? Damn. Some kind of ox or something? I think it's some kind of oryx or something. I forgot. It's something like that. But it's a type of bull. There you go. Yeah. Ox/bull, something like that. And so it's based on a real animal. And so obviously that's why people like maybe the Abes, the Duggles, etc. might be based on something too, but I've never found anything. So yeah, just a little kind of thing about that. Okay, I think we can continue on here.
You said... You play blitzball?
Xanarkand Apes.
Uh-huh.
You know, you should go to Luca. Someone might know who you are, or you might find someone you recognize.
Luca?
Ah.
Huh.
Okay, leave it to me. I'll get you to Luca. Promise. You'd rather stay here?
Uh-uh.
Okay, I'll go tell the others. Wait here. Oh, and one thing. Don't tell anyone you're from Xanarkand, okay? Yevon says it's a holy place. You might upset someone.
Oh, uh-huh.
I mean, the Ronso team is called Ronso. Be like a human team called the Brash Humans. Google just showed me a sheep called Abe. Maybe that's just like literally that sheep's name.
Xanarkand? Some kind of holy place? Yeah, right, I thought. Since when? Yevon? Sin? Luca? I thought Sin just took me to a faraway place that I could go back in a day or two. But 1,000 years into the future?
No way.
No way!
My question about the rules and possible challenges. For now, at least, everything's in auto-haste, and we're going to keep it no sphere grid until we hit what'll be, I'm sure, like a notable war. And then we'll kind of decide how we want to tackle things. So for now, it's no sphere grid, but probably it'll change. We'll see.
Etonic!
Whoa! Ah!
All right, Walker coming up soon.
Riku!
Getting that good underwater sleep. Fireflies.
Blitzball!
Hey, you okay?
You okay?
Hey!
There you go. Walker emoji time. Let's see it. He has never seen anything like that before. He already knows that kind of like all-knowing kind of little chuckle. He's like, yeah, this dude is so going to be on my team. This theme is really nice too. Underrated one. You know amateur. Who you play for? All hail John DiMaggio, indeed. Although it is a little bit sad when you hear him in, I think it was Eternal Calm, where it's like clearly he just hasn't. He's been away from the role for a little while, and Walker definitely sounds quite off. And even in 10-2, it's kind of it's fine, but it's not quite as good as 10. But yeah, this stage has become pretty common knowledge, but Walker and Kimori's voice actor are both John DiMaggio. He does both voices in the game. So Blinky, welcome to the Shoot Puff Riders.
Hiya.
You wanna try that move one more time?
Could not resist the Walker emoji. I don't blame you.
Finally. Things were starting to look up.
What's the plan for this playthrough? It's to try and complete the game with every enemy and boss in auto-haste status. And for now, at least, we're going to try and keep it no sphere grid, but probably drop it at some
Who
point.
you play for?
And yes, there will be VODs.
Xanarkin Abes.
What team you say again?
What team you say again?
I meant, forget that. I got too close to Sin, and my head's all foggy like. So, I don't know where this place is, or even where I came from.
Since toxin got to you.
Yes, there will be
But
VODs,
you're
guys.
still
So, same
alive.
as all of the live streams I've been doing for like the last year and a half or 2 years or however long it's been. There will be VODs. Fear not.
All right,
Anyone
back
needs to
practice.
pay their phone bills, go to the toilet, do
I'm
something,
Walker.
it's all good.
Coach and captain of the Besaid Oryx, brother.
You'll be able to watch the VODs.
What? You hungry? Okay, back to the village. I'll get you something.
All right. Just watching these guys here is always brilliant. 13 years and we never won a game. I mean, these guys should be a lot better than this. I'm sorry. Like, you don't have to be amazing, but like, if you've been playing something for so long, like they've probably been playing since they were little kids. Come on, guys. It's embarrassing. But yeah, they do give you some items. This is something I've often missed. To do our best. Feels like they're not full-time blitzers. I mean, that's what I mean. You don't even need to be full-time. You could just be recreationally playing as a kid for 20 years until like you became an adult and you still play for fun. Like, you'd probably still be better than this. Most people who play football like their whole lives, let's say, they can do like kick-ups and whatever. Filthy no-look passes from keeper when you talk to him. That's true, actually. Nicola Keeper. But yeah, I guess they're nervous. You see, like he says, I could do 5 in a row yesterday. So he doesn't give you anything. Fine. I think some of them do, some of them don't. There you go. They probably don't have a lot of people to train against. Yeah, again, but right now they're literally training skills. Like, for example, what Jasu's trying to do. Like, give me like thousands of hours of practice. I'm sure most people could probably do okay.
I felt like I could trust this Waka, so I just had to ask. It's true Xanarkin was destroyed, right? 1,000 years ago? So it's just a big pile of rubble now, isn't it?
Long time ago, there were a whole lot of cities in Spira. Big cities.
Big
with
cities.
Machines to run them. People played all day and let the machina do the work. And then, well, take a look. Sin came and destroyed the machina cities. And Xanarkand along with them. Yeah, that was about 1,000 years ago. Just like you said. If you ask me, Sin's our punishment for letting things get out of hand. What gets me though?
The slow-mo screw-ups.
Because of what some goofballs did way back when.
Oh, so bad.
Of course, we must always repent for our sins. That's important. It's just that it's hard to keep at it sometimes, you know?
It was just as Riku said. Waka and Riku couldn't both be lying. Why would they?
But you from the Xanarkand Apes, that was a good one, huh? Hey, I'm not saying that team never existed, yeah? But you gotta figure, a team living in luxury like that be pretty soft, eh?
I appreciated the fact that Waka was trying to cheer me up.
Oh, man.
But at that time, all I could think about was everything that happened to me. All this started with Sin. Maybe if I could find Sin one more time, I could go home. For now, I just live life until that time came. No more worrying about where or when I was. Sure, it was hard not to think of home, but I started to feel better already. A little better, maybe.
Alright. We can start heading towards Besaid. We picked up the chests, talked to the NPCs. Let's get going. Yeah, Russ, that's definitely a good idea. As I say in general, if there's any like chests and stuff that I've missed, I haven't realized, definitely point them out to me in the chat so I can go back and get them.
Hey, it's this way.
But yeah, that cutscene is hilarious. Like if you watch Dato and Jasu, like they continue to just like fumble and make their mistakes in slow-mo. It's brilliant.
Huh?
It's another, huh? I like it when they keep fading to the eject shot on the boat. Yeah,
What's the big idea?
that's brilliant. Okay, so we have some encounters here. Let's see. Yeah, Waka is a agility tier lower than Tidus. So again, maybe a little mini lesson for anyone who doesn't know or doesn't remember. basically the game determines kind of when your next turn will come based on something called tick speed, and tick speed is related to your agility stat. And basically it kind of goes up in different tiers, so based on your agility stat. So Walker's, for example, at the moment his agility is 7, and that puts him on a tick speed of 15. And so if your agility is 7, 8 or 9, your tick speed is 15. If you manage to get up to 10 agility, like Titus is right now, then your tick speed drops to 14. So obviously what that means is that Walker needs 15 ticks to go by before he gets a turn, but Titus only needs 14, so he'll get his turn more quickly than Walker will. And the same is true for enemies. Let's say we meet an enemy that has an agility of, say, 7, the same as Walker. Its turn will come in 15 ticks, but if it is hasted, its turns will come twice as fast. So instead of 15, that'll be slashed by a half, and it'll be 7.5 ticks. And in this game, they'll round that down to 7. So basically, we'll get 2 turns for every one of Walker's turns. So that's generally how that stuff works. Let's see if we can make it through this section. Yeah, agility 1, I've definitely... I've experimented with having every stat a 1 other than HP, and that was too much, but maybe agility 1 could be an interesting one. So is that to say increasing agility from 7 to 8 makes no difference? This is true. This is true. And that's something that you're not really going to know until you really get a lot more experience with the game. Agility, as I say, it goes up in tiers. So just in terms of different tiers, 5 to 6 is a tier, 7 to 9, 10, 11, 12 to 14. And then once you start getting to the bigger numbers, the ranges grow. So for example, 35 to 43 is one single range of agility. So if you have like 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, and 43, in battle, it's just going to look exactly the same. You will literally not notice any difference in the CTB. So it'll look identical. So functionally, it's exactly the same. And Sarah mentions going over 198. The number is 170. So if you get to 170, then your tick speed falls all the way down to 3. So that's as quick as you can be. And then all the way up from there to 255, it won't influence when your next turn comes in the fight. It will influence when your first turn comes in the fight, but after that, it will be exactly the same. So yeah, definitely there's a lot going on under the hood, even though you might think, yeah, turn-based is probably quite simple. There's definitely a lot going on. Did I get a preemptive strike? I didn't notice the... Is that scripted preemptive, the first one? I don't know. I was a bit lucky, I think. But yeah, those are the kind of things that pretty much no one's going to know the first time through. I mean, there's nothing in the game that indicates that that's the case. And kind of observing the fact that going from like 8 to 9 agility doesn't affect the CTB at all, like, you're just not going to notice that. And yeah, as NG Plus says, if you have first strike on top, then the agility kind of matters. I guess if you have 2 characters with... if you have 2 characters above 170 and first strike, then I think it comes down to which character it is. Then like the characters have their own priority order if their agilities are different, the same stat. It gets complicated. There's so many ways the game kind of ranks and decides. But I tend to be worse with the earliest chests because I just like go straight through the early game. But so far we're okay. Where is this chest? Right side of the beginning swim section. Let's have a look. Yeah. See, this is a chest that I basically always miss, pretty much. So thank you, chat. It means more encounters, but it's fine. We'll see how we do. Yeah, I mean, in general, it doesn't really matter if you miss these chests, but I think it's just nice to obviously get as many of them as possible. See, it's funny, you might get the high potion for free, but depending on how difficult it is, you might have like 2 extra encounters trying to find it, and then you'll have to use extra potions to heal for coming back to that. And so that's why, obviously, ideally, you'd rather just not miss the chest. But the X potion in Barge is a good one, I have to say. Ether 2, depending on what kind of playstyle you have. So you can see they're getting the first turns here. Wow. Got 3 turns in before I could act. But thankfully, because they're one-hit KOs, I think things will start to get much, much, much more dangerous when they stop being one-hit KOs. I think that's what we have to really watch out for. So is this the... There's another one at the most beginning right side. As in, are there 2 chests for this bit? Have I got them both? Or is there still one more chest? Is there 2 in this section or 3? There's 3 chests. Is the other one like completely missed? I can't get it. Where's the other one? It doesn't seem like I'm in danger of getting a game over unless I really just... At the start or... Yeah, screw that. We'll manage. I think the game just has a lot more chests than you think, especially like in the early part. There's a lot of sneaky ones. I feel like later on in the game there's not as many kind of almost sneaky chests, but at the beginning there's quite a few that are very, very easy to miss. But the game is just so generous and easy at the start that you'll just never notice it. It won't make a meaningful impact in terms of your chances of actually surviving and getting through. Maybe we have to do some kind of chest items only run, where you can't use anything other than what you pick up in the chests. Bit creepy.
Let me go.
Got a favor to ask
He
you.
just casually does this to a guy he met
You
like
want
5
me
minutes
on your
ago.
team, right?
A major blitz tournament's coming up. All the teams in Spira will be there. It's so huge, I'm sure someone there will recognize you. Then you can go back to your old team, right? It'll be fun. What do you say, huh? Come on, come on.
Come on.
Sure thing.
The animation there looked pretty good for its time, man. Like, I think it's
Ooh, our team is gonna rock, eh?
it's fairly similar in the PS2 version. I think that's pretty nice for its time, man. That's not bad.
I thought then that Blitzball and Sin were the only 2 things that Spira and Xanarkand had in common. I wasn't too far off either.
Hey Chris, welcome to the stream. Yeah, definitely. If Carithian's hopefully back by the end of this first session, I'll get him to post the link again in the chat for anyone who wants to try it.
Born. I started Blitz when I was 5. I joined the Aurochs at 13, 10 years ago. 10 years.
10 years,
We
not 13.
never won a game. Well, after last year's tournament, I quit. Time seemed right.
Okay, nice. Yeah, it should be pretty easy to find. I'm sure
So,
if you
After quitting, I got this new job, yeah?
if you Google
But
like
every
Final
time
Fantasy
my
X
mind wandered.
Auto-Haste
Thought
mod,
about the game.
you can probably find it.
10 years without a single win will do that.
My first match last year was my big chance. But something else was on my mind. I couldn't focus.
Nice excuse.
Hey, hey!
So, you want to win the next tournament? Go out with a bang. So, what's our goal?
I don't care how we do. Long as we play our best.
I love this scene.
If we give it our all, I can walk away happy.
No. If I say, what's our goal? You say, victory! When you play in a blitzball tournament, you play to win.
Victory? You're serious?
Yeah, I think the remaster definitely dropped the ball in terms of the faces on most. Like, it's just weird because some of them were good, I think, definitely, and some of them just really bad, with Titus and Yuna being the worst offenders, I think. pretty much a consensus thing at this stage that like the faces of Tidus and Yuna are just not as good in the remaster. I think Lulu and Auron are great.
Ah, the one from the
Kumari
sea.
looks great.
Be on guard. There are fiends on the road today.
After surviving your run-in with Sin, it would be a shame if something happened now.
Would indeed.
Who are they?
Luzu and Gata, Crusaders.
Huh?
Cruise of what?
Crews of what?
What, you forgot that too? Hey, sorry. Don't worry about it. I'll help you out.
Cool. In return, come tournament time, I'll make sure we take the cup.
Cool. About the Crusaders, you can ask them yourself. They got a lodge in a village.
Alright, cool. This game is almost as old as me, the Japanese version. I've been playing as a kid, watching these cool challenges you're doing. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, it is crazy to think this game is already 25th anniversary next year.
Besaid
Wild.
Village.
They got any food there?
We'll get you something over there later. Take a look around first.
Bro is hungry.
Let's see. The Crusaders' lodge is over yonder. Luzu and Kata are usually there. All right. Over here.
Huh? What's up?
You do remember the prayer, right?
I didn't know it in the first place, to tell the truth.
Man, that's like the basics of the basics. All right, I'll show you.
These interactions are just great at the start of the game. I really enjoy it.
Go ahead, you try.
Yuzu. Great. Do we kill Luzu or Gata in this playthrough? I think in the Karifi mod,
Not bad.
Luzu died? Maybe we killed Gata in this
now,
one.
go present yourself to the temple summoner.
He's got
Any
to go,
blitzball
yeah?
player would know that prayer. It was the blitzball sign for victory.
Like, that's such a weird detail. It was the blitzball sign for victory. It's one of those where, like, it just sounds a bit... The first time I played this game, it was like, what, like 11, 12? And just, like, in general, that kind of went over my head a little bit. When you think about what that, like, means, that's kind of... It's so strange. Like, the blitzball sign for victory being their prayer. Like, what? How did 10-2 handle Luzu and Gata? That's a good question. It's been so long since I played 10-2, I don't really remember. Does anyone remember if any NPCs give you anything in this one? At this part of the game? They don't appear. Yeah, that's probably an easy way to deal with them. To make them not appear. They're not in 10-2. So yeah, anyone remember if talking to any NPCs give you items? That's one thing I'm going to try and look out for a little bit more in this playthrough. So if you guys remember any stuff like that, definitely let me know. Yeah, the ones when you're about to board the boat, I definitely remember they give you stuff. I tend to grab those ones. Only the dog. True. Alright, let's just move things along a little here. Yeah, I do think at this stage, the whole like the cringe narrative, like oh terrible voice acting of the laughing scene, I do think that's kind of disappeared at this stage. I think there's been so many people that's kind of rose up to defend it and to explain the context and show it love and appreciation that I don't think that narrative really exists as much anymore. There's always going to be people who think that way, but I think it was a much stronger sentiment like 10, 15 years ago where people are like, yeah, this is like a really kind of low point of the voice acting in the game. It's such a bad scene and blah,
It was
blah, blah.
then, standing in that place.
I don't feel that way anymore. RinnaGuy, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Yeah, so shout
I
out
began to
to
realize how different this world was from my own.
people who kind of fought the good fight and tried to explain why that scene is actually a lot more meaningful and like a good scene. To the people who didn't appreciate as much the first time, myself included. I mean, the first time I heard the scene as well, I was a bit like, what? But it definitely, like, as I understood it better, I definitely came to enjoy it a lot more. The Japanese sound like seagulls, though.
10 years have passed since Lord Braska became High Summoner.
Titus's reaction here, just the way he
And
gets freaked
finally,
out.
we receive a statue for our temple.
Well, what's a high summoner?
What in Yevon's name are you doing out there?
To Sin's, toxin.
That's one of my favorite Walker lines.
It was funny hearing myself make the same excuse over and over. Funny, and a little sad.
The summoners are practitioners of a sacred art, sworn to protect the people of Yevon. Only a chosen few become summoners, who call forth entities of great power, the Aeons. The Aeons hear our prayers and come down to us. They are the blessing of Yevon.
So
New
what he
favorite
meant
Walker line. We gotta pay. That's
was
another
that
one
we
of my
should
favorites, of
respect
course.
some kind of great men, or something like that, I figured.
Soren is an Albert too, is he? Walker's got so many great lines. I think he's a great character. He really is. Yeah, some of these rooms especially, I think it really kind of, like the HD remaster of this game, so much stuff was really well done. Like we talk about the face models for Titus and Yuna like not being great and stuff, but like, I don't know, I feel like the details and stuff of this room is just really nice. Like this bit at the back here, like the symbols and the kind of, I guess, roll of some type of fabric or whatever it's on. It all looks really nice. Like the colors in this room, the lanterns with the little flames. That's some really nice stuff. I still say I really don't think this game needs a remake right now. I'm really not interested in one personally at the moment. I would literally rather see it, say, for example, Final Fantasy 12 remake than a 10, if you're asking me right now. The game just still holds up really well. And I think for 12, not so much because it looks bad. I just feel like if they're going to go the remake route and they want to change a few things up and maybe quote-unquote improve a few things, like kind of not make it just kind of a glow-up, I feel like 12 could potentially benefit from it more. Like there's so much greatness in 12 that I think could be made even better in a remake. So I'd personally like to see the 12 be remade more so. I think a remake would ruin it because they'll change the battle system. I feel like for 12 they could probably retain the battle system more so than they would for 10. I feel like there's such a like antithesis to how they're thinking now to have a turn-based game that
Sorry, man. No time for lunch yet.
10 feels kind of more under
Take a
threat.
nap. You look pushed.
I don't think this needs a remake either. Yeah. I think it needs more time. Another generation or
At
two.
least go see how they are doing.
We can't interfere. It's a rule.
It's a rule.
But it's been nearly.
The dialogue in 12 drives me crazy. What do you mean? It's an interesting take.
But it's been nearly.
Oh, okay. You mean the quality of the audio? Yes. Then yes.
Perhaps you could go look for us.
I thought you meant like the writing or
People
something.
are searching for him now.
That's another reason it would benefit. I think they had so much dialogue in that game that like I think they struggled to have it in the highest quality in the game or something. They had to compress it a lot. But that's one thing that would definitely be nice.
Back or not. But he might die. Fine, let him. Do you hate him so? But if he dies, you'll never be able to tell him how much you hate him.
Great interactions here. I'm wondering these days though, as much as I'm overall like the whole AI thing I'm very mixed on, I think one area where it could be interesting, for example, is I wonder if you can say, for example, put the dialogue of Final Fantasy 12 through an AI
Waka?
to basically get rid of the compression kind of thing? Like, could you create an enhanced dialogue kind of AI mod for Final Fantasy 12? Would that be possible, I wonder? It could potentially, I guess, really clean up some of that, like, compressed audio, maybe make it sound better. Surely it can't be that impossible for it to do. I don't know. Did you see they put up a website for the Final Fantasy 9 25th anniversary? They also put one up for Chrono Trigger as well, which is kind of interesting. Now, I've talked about the Final Fantasy 9 remake rumors for a long time, and I think a lot of it gained traction. I think it was 2022 when that whole like list got leaked, and there were a few things from that list that did end up materializing, and Final Fantasy 9 remake was supposedly on that list. But that's one of the few, I guess, on there that we never really heard from again in any official capacity. So as it stands, I think still officially there's nothing in terms of a remake, but the fact that that Final Fantasy 9 was once on that list, and the 25th anniversary, I think, yeah, like things are, the chances have increased, but I'm still very much like, until I actually see a Final Fantasy 9 remake announcement, I'm not hyped or anything like that. I'm not expecting anything. I'm just kind of just patiently watching and waiting, I think. So for now, at least, I think it's literally just like we're going to try and sell some Final Fantasy 9 merchandise because it's the 25th anniversary and that kind of thing. But in terms of meaningful, like, actual content for 9, I haven't heard anything yet. So we'll see.
Is something wrong?
The summoner hasn't returned from the trial.
Eh?
Well, apprentice summoner, really.
Huh?
There's a room in there called the Cloister of Trials. Beyond is where the apprentice summoner prays. If the prayer is heard, the apprentice becomes a fully fledged summoner. Remember?
So someone is in there somewhere and they haven't come back out. Right, I got it.
A day's already gone by.
Is it particularly dangerous in there?
Sometimes, yes.
Why don't you go in and help?
There's already guardians in there. Besides, it's forbidden.
It's forbidden.
Hey, but what if something happens? What if the summoner dies?
The precepts must be obeyed.
Like I care.
You have profaned and subverted a 1,000-year-old tradition.
Maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all.
Oh man, here we go. The website is real, they're advertising merch and a new Vine. So yeah, at the moment it's all kind of merch and marketing and whatever, so... As with all of this stuff, wake me up when you see an official announcement. I just don't get excited by rumors. It's just pretty much always been the case. As Sid says, words, show me action. I put on this music whenever I'm struggling with something at work. I only recently realised that Tyler stops narrating when you get to Xanakin because he finally caught up to the intro. Yeah, that's a good point. I was going to say, like, it sounds very similar. It's the arranged version, but it sounds very similar to me. Have you ever listened to the big podcast series, State of the Arc, did on this game? I actually featured in it. I didn't listen to all of it, I'll be totally honest. Like, in terms of long-form content, I don't really tend to watch a lot of long-form content myself. But from what I know of those guys, and I did a podcast with Mike from Resident Arc in the past, and like they have excellent insight and analysis, and they do really great work. So it's definitely highly recommended. I'm sure they've done incredible research and they have really great insight into like the overall game. So definitely check out the State of the Art podcast with the Resident Arc team. Great bunch. Yeah, like they go like really in depth. Like, I don't know how many episodes it was. It's probably like 20 episodes or something. And each episode is like, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours or something. If the Cloister didn't have this music, I think we wouldn't mind them so much. Yeah, I think that I do like this piece of music. I just think it's probably one of those that has negative associations. It's not really the music itself that's the issue.